there's this weird thing, and people who've had these experiences or people who've researched this stuff is going to recognize this. There is a strange, tangled, chaotic context to this stuff. The more tangled the story, the more I trust it. There is something of confirmation in these knotted up stories. They get really hard to tell. You try to write this stuff out, and like, oh, here, I'll share this in a book. It's like, it's so much going on. And every little thread you pull on is just something weirder. I feel like this has happened to me. So Mike C. gets a hold of me. He's asked that I not use his real name, but it's Mike C., and that's my name, Mike C. So this one gets confusing, so pay attention. And this comes from a guy with a lot of odd experiences. Now, we met, Mike C. and Mike, we met. I signed his book at this conference that I was talking about in New England. And this would have been in August of 2016, so less than a year ago. So his story is, he lives in Springfield, Massachusetts, and he's driving home. He's crossing the Memorial Bridge. And this whole story came to me in back and forth Facebook chat. So I have like this, everything's time counted, and I can review what exactly the conversation is. So I got a story for you. So I was coming home, and I was crossing the Memorial Bridge, and just after I crossed the bridge, I was making this turn on the roundabout, and this owl whoosh, like flies right across my windshield, full daylight, scares the crap out of me. So he crosses the bridge, there he is, owl passes the windshield. Drives a little less than a half mile. He looks over, and there's a UFO hovering above one of the buildings there, just to the upside of the highway there. And he says, copper-colored flying saucer, and then whoosh, zips off. And then he says, oh yeah, and by the way, as I was doing this, I had a thing loaded on my MP3 player. It was one of your talks. It was a lecture you had given about owls and UFOs, and I was listening to that. I was like, wait, what? You were listening to me, and you saw an owl, and you saw a UFO? As I was talking about owls and UFOs, he's like, yeah, I did. That was kind of, so now, well, one little thing here, I get to use a laser pointer. Let me just do this. One little thing here is this message came in at 1:23 p.m. Now, I'm not going to start a new religion over the little number sequences, but I'm going to point them out. That number is particularly powerful for me. I pay attention when that number shows up, 123 and 1234. So he gets back to me. He says, dude, I just looked at the message you sent me at 11:11 a.m. So we get 11:11, we get 123. So a year later, this happened the year before I met him. A year later, we meet at the conference. I sign his book. About a month later, he's driving down the same highway. And he crosses, I get to use the pointer. He crosses this bridge here, and right here he gets stuck in traffic, and in front of him is an owl. A little owl toy in the back of a car. Now it's so it's like, oh, okay, an owl toy, cross the bridge. Okay, so timestamp 333. So we get this owls, UFOs, conversation between two people named Mike C, get 123, get 111, 1, and 333. This is a subtle form of confirmation. I pay attention when this stuff shows up, but one detail of this whole story just jumped out at me and rang the bell for me. The owls were seen right after crossing a bridge. Now I'm at the point now where I'm seeing reality. Like you go to the gypsy fortune teller and she interprets your dreams, right? And if you went to her and said, in my dream I crossed a bridge and I saw an owl. She said, oh, the mythic symbolism of the owl and the bridge. This is important stuff. This happened in real life. He crossed a bridge and saw an owl twice. Now, the metaphor, the symbolism of the bridge is overcoming an obstacle. Life is the river, you cross the river, you overcome an obstacle, you come to a new place in your life. The bridge is neither here nor there. It's not on one side of the river or the other. It's between. And then after starting this new chapter of your life, I'm doing dream analysis here. After starting this new chapter of your life, the owl plays the role of messenger. When I told him that, we talked about that. He's like, oh God, that hits so hard. That felt very real to him. There's these clues that show up, and I call these orchestrated clues. They show up, they're symbolic, or they're sometimes they're so specific that only the observer would have the ability to untangle these clues. So from my sense, certain clues are forcing people to pay attention.